but let's start off with the external debt of Zambia, currently at about 10% of GDP. What are your thoughts on that, and how sustainable is this?
Thank you, and good evening to you. 10% debt level of GDP, as JCTR, we view it to be sustainable. I think this brings in the history of the country's debt. If you look at about 10 years ago, before debt was cancelled, the debt levels of for the country was above 100% of GDP. So looking at where we are now, we see it to be sustainable. More so that the economy has been growing. In the past 5-6 years, we've been growing at 6%. So we see the current debt levels to be sustainable.
Looking at the country's rating, sitting on a B+ rating, do you think the economy will get preferential rates when they perhaps go out there and look for more funds?
I think so. If you look at the Euro bond that was issued recently, I think Zambia got a rate that other countries have not received in the sub-region. Zambia borrowed at 5.3%. That is about 1.5 percentage points below the rate at which Ghana borrowed. And also looking at the growth perspective of the country, I think we are likely to get even lower rates.
And looking at that Euro bond, it was successfully oversubscribed. It was done a few months ago. But the question has always been how the government is going to use these funds. Your thoughts on that? And maybe they did, however, give a few guidelines in their recent budget.
Thank you. That has been our concern as JCTR. And no wonder in our work we always advise government to use money for the intended purposes, especially on economic activities that have got higher return, that will benefit ordinary Zambians. Looking at the suggestions that government has given on the utilization of the Euro bond, I think we feel satisfied that if the money is used as they've proposed, the money will benefit ordinary Zambians, and I think we'll be able to repay the loan. Much of it will go into infrastructure development, that is rail and roads. And another larger chunk again will go to energy. We have a huge deficit, not just in Zambia, but in the region. And if we can produce enough energy for the country, I think we will be able to grow the economy and probably export the surplus.
Well, you've touched on a number of sectors that this money needs to be channeled into. But when you came out saying that you'd like to see the government putting more money into water supply and sanitation services countrywide.
Definitely, we would want to see more money, allocated to social sectors, such as water and sanitation, social protection, education and health. And in the 2013 budget, I think we have seen some significant allocation to the health sector, especially. Government has increased the allocation, I think, to about 11% of the budget from where it was, I think it was around 8% of the budget. However, we feel government should have done more for education, because the share of allocation in the 2013 budget has remained the same as in last year's. For water and sanitation, of course, nominally there has been some increase compared to last year. But in terms of share of the allocation to the budget, it's quite low compared to the allocation of the 2011 budget. So it's like we've just gone to the level of allocation of the 2011 budget, but we acknowledge the increase that government has given in the 2013 budget.
Another issue that you have also raised are the laws that govern loan contracting in Zambia. You're saying that they're not subject to government approval. What does this mean for the ordinary Zambian?
Well, what it means is that government may borrow and use money in a way that may not benefit ordinary Zambians. We feel that if Parliament is given oversight over the borrowing of money, I think it will enhance the way money is being used, and it will be used in the interest of Zambians. Members of Parliament represent ordinary Zambians and their interest, and therefore they must have a big say in the way money is contracted, in the way it is utilized. Currently, Parliament just approves the portion of the budget to be financed from borrowed resources. They are not involved in determining the terms of the loan, the necessity of the loan, and we feel the law should be changed in its current form.
Well, I just want to get your thoughts on the interest rate decision that was made by the central bank earlier today. So they're cutting interest rates, increasing rates by 25 basis points to 9.25%. So your thoughts on that and the kind of impact that it will have on the ordinary Zambian?
Of course, in the last few months, we've seen, I think, increase in interest rate. Even though it's still below 10%, but it has been increasing by about 0.2 percentage points per month. And of course, the PF government in 2012, I think their budget has been expansionary, if I might put it that way. So there have been inflationary pressures, and government would want to address that by tightening, I think, money supply, and I think this is why they've increased interest rate. But I think it may push up interest rate. Already, interest rates are very high in Zambia. The base rates are around 16%, but depending on risk factors of a client, businesses borrow even up to 20–25%. So this increase may not augur well, especially to small and medium entrepreneurs who are struggling to access finance. As much as this measure may contain inflation, it may push up interest rates for ordinary Zambians.